They call me Ellie, I begin, my voice catching a little on the cool Seattle air. It's a damp evening, the kind that seeps into your bones and reminds you that you're never truly dry. I'm sitting on a rickety stool in a small, independent bookstore on the edge of Pioneer Square. Liam, the owner, my Liam, is watching me with those warm, hazel eyes of his, a gentle smile playing on his lips. He knows this story isn't easy for me to tell. Ellie Vance, I clarify, but most folks never bothered with the Vance part. Not when I was out there. I gesture vaguely towards the streets beyond the bookstore's window. The rain is just starting to pick up, blurring the neon lights and the reflections in the wet pavement. Rain was my constant companion back then, I say, a wry smile twisting my lips. Felt like I spent half my life soaked to the bone. And the dust. Seattle's got this way about it, even when it's pouring. The rain just mixes with the grime and turns everything to mud. That's what my life felt like, a coating of mud, day in, day out. I pause, taking a deep breath. Liam reaches across the counter and gently squeezes my hand. His touch is grounding, a reminder that I'm not that girl anymore, or, at least, not only that girl. My life felt like a forgotten page in a dusty book. I continue, my gaze drifting to the shelves filled with stories. Like some author had started a chapter, then just given up. Left me unfinished, unread. I was 16 when I hit the streets for good. Foster care had been a revolving door of neglect and indifference. I was just a number, a check in a box. Running away felt like the only way to take control, even if it was just control over my own misery. Seattle swallowed me whole. I learned to be quick, to be invisible, to be whatever I needed to be to survive. I found odd jobs, washing dishes, sweeping floors, selling newspapers. I slept in abandoned buildings, under bridges, anywhere I could find a sliver of shelter from the rain and the cold. I met other kids like me, lost souls, castaways. Some were kind, some were cruel. I learned to trust no one, to rely only on myself. There was Danny, though. Danny was different. He had this easy smile and a way of making me laugh, even when I felt like the world was caving in. We were together for a few months. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. Something that felt like it could maybe be real. But Danny was also a hustler, a user. He introduced me to things I shouldn't have known, things that dulled the pain but stole pieces of my soul. Our relationship was a roller coaster of highs and lows, of fleeting moments of tenderness and long stretches of bitter disappointment. It ended badly, as those things often do. A fight, a betrayal, and then, nothing. He was gone, and I was left with nothing but the scars he'd left behind. After Danny, I shut myself off even more. I became harder, colder. I told myself that love was a lie, that connection was a weakness. Survival was the only thing that mattered. I kept going, day after day, rain after rain. I wrote in my notebook, filling page after page with my observations, my stories, my dreams. It was the only thing that kept me from completely losing myself. One day, I found myself wandering through Pioneer Square, trying to escape the relentless drizzle. I ducked into a small bookstore, drawn by the warm light spilling out onto the street. It was the book nook, Liam's place. The air inside was thick with the scent of old paper and ink. It was a haven, a sanctuary from the harshness of the world outside. I browsed the shelves, running my fingers over the spines of the books, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. Liam was behind the counter, a tall, lanky man with kind eyes and a disarming smile. He watched me for a moment, then approached me. "Can I help you find something?" he asked, his voice gentle. I shook my head, suddenly self-conscious. "Just looking," I mumbled, turning to leave. "Don't let me scare you off," he said, his smile widening. "We're not just about selling books here. We're about sharing stories." I hesitated, drawn in by his genuine warmth. "I like stories," I admitted. "But they don't always like me." He raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Oh. And why is that?" I shrugged, suddenly feeling vulnerable. "They're just not real. Not like this." I gestured to the rain-streaked window. He chuckled softly. "Maybe that's why we need them. To remind us that there's more to life than just the rain and the mud." We talked for a long time that day. I told him a little about my life, careful to keep the details vague. He told me about his bookstore, about his love for literature, about his dream of creating a space where people could connect through stories. He didn't judge me, didn't pity me. He just listened. And for the first time in a long time, I felt seen. I started visiting the book nook every day. I would help Liam with small tasks, shelving books, cleaning the windows, making coffee. He paid me a little, but more importantly, he gave me a sense of purpose. He also introduced me to new books, new authors. He challenged me to think differently, to see the world in a new light. He encouraged me to write, to share my stories. "You have a gift, Ellie," he said one day, after reading one of my pieces. "You see the world in a way that most people don't. You have a voice that needs to be heard." His words gave me courage. I started writing more, pouring my heart and soul into my stories. I wrote about the streets, about the people I had met, about the struggles and the triumphs of life on the margins. Liam became my mentor, my friend, my confidant. He gave me a safe place to land, a roof over my head, and a reason to believe in myself again. He didn't just give me shelter, I say, my voice softening. He opened his heart to me. He didn't ask for my name, didn't pry into my past. He just saw me. And he offered me a place in his world. I remember the day he asked me to move in with him. It was a rainy afternoon, of course. We were sitting in the back of the bookstore, surrounded by stacks of books, drinking tea. "Ellie," he said, his voice hesitant, "I know this might be forward, but I was wondering if you'd consider moving in with me." I stared at him, stunned. "What?" He blushed, looking down at his hands. "I know it's a lot to ask. And you don't have to say yes, of course. But I enjoy having you around. And I hate the thought of you out there, in the rain." Tears welled up in my eyes. It wasn't just the offer of a warm bed and a safe place to sleep. It was the fact that someone actually cared about me, that someone wanted me in their life. "Yes," I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. "Yes, I'd love to." Moving in with Liam was like stepping into a different world. His apartment was small but cozy, filled with books and art and the aroma of coffee and cinnamon. It was a sanctuary, a haven from the chaos and the darkness of my past. He never pressured me to talk about my past, but he was always there to listen when I needed to. He helped me heal, to forgive myself, to believe that I deserved to be happy. Our relationship grew slowly, organically. We started as friends, then became something more. We fell in love, not with a whirlwind of passion, but with a deep, abiding affection. He saw the beauty in my scars, the strength in my vulnerability. He loved me for who I was, not for who he wanted me to be. Now, I say, smiling at Liam, I'm not out on the streets anymore. I'm here, in his heart. He smiles back, his eyes filled with love. And she's here, in mine, he says, reaching for my hand. The rain outside is still falling, but it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm warm, I'm safe, I'm loved. I'm finally home. Epilogue. A year later, I stand on a small stage in the back of the book nook, nervously clutching a microphone. The room is packed with people, friends, family, customers, and even a few familiar faces from my past. Tonight is the launch of my first book, a collection of short stories inspired by my life on the streets. It's called Dust and Rain. I look out at the crowd, my heart swelling with gratitude. I see Liam, standing in the back, his eyes shining with pride. I take a deep breath and begin to read. My voice trembles at first, but then it steadies. I tell my stories, the stories of the lost and the forgotten, the stories of hope and resilience. As I read, I feel a sense of closure, a sense of finally reclaiming my voice. I'm no longer the girl who wandered the streets, lost and alone. I'm a writer, a storyteller, a survivor. And I'm loved. When I finish reading, the room erupts in applause. People rush to congratulate me, to buy my book, to share their own stories. I sign books for hours, my hand cramping but my heart soaring. I talk to people from all walks of life, people who have been touched by my words, people who feel seen and heard. As the night winds down, I find myself standing next to Liam, watching the last of the guests depart. You were amazing, he says, wrapping his arms around me. I'm so proud of you. I lean into his embrace, feeling safe and loved. I couldn't have done it without you, I say. He kisses my forehead. You did it all yourself, Ellie. I just gave you a little nudge. I smile, knowing that he's being modest. He gave me more than just a nudge. He gave me a chance, a home, a love that I never thought I deserved. As we close up the bookstore, I glance at the cover of my book. Dust and Rain, it reads. It's a reminder of where I came from, of the darkness I've overcome. But it's also a reminder of the hope that can be found in the most unexpected places, of the love that can bloom even in the harshest of conditions. My life may have started as a forgotten page in a dusty book, but now, it's a story worth telling. And I'm finally ready to write the next chapter. Moral of the story. Even in the darkest of circumstances, human connection and kindness can offer a path to healing, resilience, and a chance to rewrite one's story. Never underestimate the power of a single act of compassion to transform a life. My friends, do not forget to subscribe to the channel for upcoming heart-touching love stories, and definitely press the bell icon so that you can get notifications of upcoming videos. Thank you, friends.